Tommy will start us off.
Ryan, how disappointing is this?
Extremely disappointed and frustrated.
What do you do to get things back on track?
I mean, you do the only thing I know how to do, and that's go to work. Try to continue to make adjustments. From a defensive perspective, we tweaked a few things and made some adjustments that I feel like helped us. So yeah, we'll continue to go to work and make adjustments to improve.
Just the issue of penalties today, 13 for 165. I think there were 6 PIs. Just what was behind some of the players that led some of those penalties?
Yeah, the pass interferences. I thought there were a couple of them that were blatant. There are also a couple that are judgment calls. I'll go back and watch the tape and see where we can teach to improve on that one. Obviously now Green, this was his first start and back in live action, so you knew there was going to be some jitters there. The ones that drive me crazy are the pre and post snap penalties. The stepping over a receiver, that's stupid. Can't happen. This is a disciplined program, and that's not indicative of what we're teaching. Or what we harp on. That was one that extended a drive when we needed to stop. So I'll address that, and we got to do better.
All your goals are still in front of you, though, 1 and 3. Is there any reason to I guess, lose composure or think maybe this thing can't get back on track?
I'm extremely competitive. So when you're competitive, like there's the thought of not competing is not ever in the equation. So, like I told the team in the locker room, we'll get in and watch the tape on Sunday. We'll correct it. We'll learn from it. We'll make adjustments. We'll game plan on Monday. On Tuesday, we'll have a hard practice and work on early downs. On Wednesday, we'll come in and work on situational football. On Thursday, we'll have a perfect practice Thursday. We travel on Friday and then walk through. And we'll go compete on Saturday. That's what I know how to do. That's how I know how to operate. And that will not change. So the goal is to keep improving. Got every intention on an expectation on this program to do so. Am I angry? Absolutely. Am I frustrated? Hell yeah. Do I hate losing? Hell yeah. And so we got to figure out a way to win.
Ryan, in your opinion, what is the issue with putting points on the board with the offense? It seemed like the defense held up its end of the deal for pretty much 3 quarters, and you have 3 points on the board.
Yeah. I gotta watch the tape. It's hard. It's easy to sort of come in and be frustrated just by looking at statistics. But until you watch the tape and evaluate, what happened, so I would like to make an educated answer, to that question after I study it.
On a positive front, you do block 2 kicks in the first half that gives you a chance coming out again the ball in the second half. Was there something with their kicking game where you felt you could take advantage if they had opportunities to kick field goals?
We just knew we had to do good effort. Our guys wanted to win this one bad. And they played that play the way you're supposed to and gave us a chance.
Coach, you mentioned kind of briefly the plan going into this upcoming week against Wisconsin, against Madison. So at what point do you, especially in a situation like this where you have so much in your control, like you said, the pre and post play snaps and penalties, how do you transition mentally from learning from this loss to being prepared to take on the opponent next Saturday?
Yeah, so you try to put the game to bed in a 24-hour time span, which is why Sunday we get in and do some self-scout, self-evaluation, make adjustments and corrections. And then you put the page, and you wake up on Monday morning. You can't dwell on the negative feelings, negative emotions. So you can use frustration and anger and disappointment as fuel for the next week's opponent. But the time you spend on the negatives, in my opinion, it's a waste of time. And, like I said, you got a game next week, so you don't want to let one week affect the next. You want to learn from it so that you aren't making the same mistakes for next week. But you can't let it affect the next week.
And then again, like with your perspective specifically as a defensive guy, especially as like a secondary defensive guy, what kind of perspective does that give you on how kind of the secondary players pull out of the passing interference today?
Yeah, like I said, I've got to go back and look at some of those. Obviously, like you can't make contact with the balls in the air and not look back in football. Like that's passing interference 101. Obviously, we don't like teach that. We educate our guys on what the rules are and work an individual to play with proper technique. Am I disappointed in those calls? Absolutely. But I think that we can correct those. Like I said, it's the ones that drive me crazy are the pre and post snap penalties. Those are inexcusable.
What are the things you want to define your offense? What do you feel like the strengths and the elements are that you want to highlight?
I think this team can run the football. I've got a lot of faith in Devin Lockerbie and Reggie Love. And like I said, I got to look at what they were doing defensively on tape. That's that hurt us there. Then we got to get some guys back healthy on the outside. We got to make plays when the ball's in the air. And we're going to try as a staff to put our guys in positions to get easy completions and stretch the field.
So you kind of mentioned here the injuries to your receivers on the outside. This seems to be the second year in a row where you've dealt with injuries there at that position. How important has Corey Patterson been to getting those young guys ready to play each week?
Huge, and those guys play hard. If you look at sort of how that room played a year ago, and in terms of how they play now, like they play football the right way. We got young guys out there, obviously, they block tremendously well on the perimeter. They compete hard. They got a lot of potential, and he's a big reason why. We'll get some guys back here soon, which I'm excited about. And I think every game, those young guys will continue to improve in game experience against, real good opponents.
Do you see any of those guys that were out injured today making a return back to Wisconsin?
I'm not sure. We'll see. Sort of Monday, Tuesday is kind of when we can tell if they'll be available or not. I know they're working their butts off to do so. And a lot of those guys are close.
Coach, despite your record, despite the past few weeks, still another sellout today, over 61,000 people in attendance. Do you have any message to the students of the Ross-Ade Brigade?
We appreciate the heck out of them. That's one of the disappointing things is, when you have a atmosphere like we do, and you have a fan base like we do, and you've got, alumni and community support that is proud of this place. Like, we want to make them proud on game days, and for the last 2 times we've been out there, we haven't. That's disappointing. We love it here. This is home, and when you let family members down, you get disappointed. If I'm being honest, I felt down last 2 weekends.
Got time for 2 more questions.
Coach, how do you evaluate Joseph Jefferson and Dylan Beaton and kind of flip-flopping that deep safety and more in-box safety with that?
So obviously Antonio Stevens was out with the injury, and he was the more in-the-box safety. That position also sees a lot of action. DT would tell you the last sort of 3 games, he hadn't really played like himself. Joe Jefferson is an aggressive guy who's got some range. He's also a younger and inexperienced guy. So just the thought was there's a lot of moving parts as you move closer to the ball. So if you kick Joe back and move DT down, DT could process what was going on in front of him at a fast rate. It would also put him involved in plays where he's supposed to make them early to kind of get him going. And so I thought, again, I got to go back and watch it. I thought DC played well. I thought Joe made some splash plays, and he's a physical player. That pulls the trigger. He made a few mistakes as well, and we'll correct those. And to be honest, you sort of expect those from the first time starter. It is hard to play perfect in a football game, especially in the Big Ten. And with Nebraska is very creative offensively, and there's a lot of different parts pretty close to that. But I thought, for the most part, those guys communicated well together, and we were able to make some plays.
Because AJ left the field late, do you have any idea what his status is?
It was a shoulder. I think I think he'll be okay. Which I usually bring a shoulder.
All right, thanks, Coach. Well, players in shortly.